The people who love you the most are usually the same ones who will quietly make sure you never get too far. They don't do it on purpose. They just can't handle the version of you that doesn't need them anymore. And deep down, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. So if that sentence just made your stomach twist a little, good. Stay right there. We're about to talk about why that twist is the most valuable signal you'll ever get. You've heard it since you were a kid, over and over, from teachers, from motivational speakers, from Instagram carousels, from your own parents, probably. You can't do it alone. Your network is your net worth. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Surround yourself with people smarter than you. Find your tribe. Masterminds are the secret weapon of the ultra-successful. And the craziest part? Almost everyone nods along like it's gospel, including you, including me at one point. It's the most repeated success advice in the world, and it's also one of the most dangerous half-truths ever sold. Because while those sentences sound warm and safe and communal, they quietly train you to believe something very specific, that going solo equals weakness, that independence equals arrogance, that doing it completely alone equals you're broken, antisocial, or just not good enough to attract help. But here's where the room gets quiet. Look at the people who actually reach the stratosphere, not the Instagram famous version, the real ones, the ones who own the game, not just play in it. Almost every single one of them had a long, ugly, obsessive, borderline antisocial phase, years where they barely spoke to anyone, where friends slowly disappeared, where family worried, where they looked like they were falling apart from the outside, while they were actually being rebuilt from the inside. So if the official story's true, if you really need people to reach the top, then why do the people who get furthest spend so much time completely, deliberately, ruthlessly alone? Think about that for a second. Really think about it, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Real power, the kind that lasts, the kind nobody can take away, is never built with help. Real power is built in complete, strategic, chosen isolation. The fastest way to become someone they can no longer ignore, someone they can't compete with, someone they eventually have to respect whether they like you or not, is to go full ghost mode and build everything completely, ruthlessly, obsessively alone. Every single time you accept someone's help, advice, money, connection, emotional support, even just their encouragement, you also quietly, invisibly accept a ceiling, a future compromise, a debt, a leash with someone else's hand on the other end. And the higher you want to climb, the more that leash starts to choke. So the move isn't to collect more allies. The move is to need fewer of them until you need exactly zero. Not because you're broken, not because you're antisocial, but because you finally decided that sovereignty is worth more than safety. That's the game we're about to talk about. And once you understand how to play it, you don't go back. Okay, let's get brutally specific, because people love saying help is good and we're all in this together, but they almost never talk about what you're actually signing up for every single time you accept support. Here are the costs most people never admit until it's way too late. First, every favor creates debt, not the kind you can pay back with a thank you note or a coffee. Psychological debt. You feel it in your gut the next time you want to do something that person would disapprove of. Suddenly, you're editing your decisions. Would they think this is ungrateful? Would this make me look like I didn't need them after all? That tiny voice is real, and it grows. Second, every alliance creates compromise. You want to go full savage on your project? Too bad. Your collaborator prefers the safe, marketable version. You want to disappear for 6 months? Too bad. Your supportive circle starts panicking and guilt-tripping you back into visibility. The more people are tied to your journey, the more your direction becomes a group negotiation, and negotiation always pulls toward the average. Third, Every person you lean on becomes a potential point of failure. Betrayal isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just them getting scared when you start moving too fast. Sometimes it's them quietly resenting your progress. Sometimes it's them using your vulnerabilities later because you once showed them you were human. The more keys you hand out to your life, the more doors someone can eventually kick open. Fourth, approval becomes your cage. The second you start getting likes, encouragement, proud of you texts, part of your nervous system gets rewired to chase more of that feeling. You start optimizing for applause instead of results. And applause is the most addictive drug that keeps you mediocre because the herd only claps for what it already understands. Fifth, and this one hurts the most, support is very often just disguised mediocrity enforcement, dressed up as love. When your circle celebrates your small wins too loudly, they're also quietly telling you, this is enough, don't go further, don't become unrecognizable, stay in the lane we can still relate to. And the cruelest part? Most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're helping, but help and handcuffs can look identical from the inside. So yeah, the warm, fuzzy story about needing people is real, for staying comfortable, for staying safe, for staying liked. But if your goal is actual, cold, sovereign, take no prisoners dominance in your field, then every single social tether you keep plugged in is a voluntary handicap you put on yourself. And the people who win at the highest level, they figured that out. They counted the cost, and one by one, they unplugged everything. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. All right, enough theory. Let's get concrete. If you're going to do this, if you're really going to unplug from the herd and build something that scares people when you re-emerge, this is what the ghost phase actually looks like in real life. Not the romanticized version, the real one. 1. You go radio silent, completely. No casual, hey, how's it going texts. No miss you replies. No explaining why you've been quiet. Your phone becomes a museum piece. Notifications off forever. People text you, they get left on read for days, weeks, sometimes permanently. The silence isn't passive-aggressive, it's surgical. 2. Social media becomes a ghost town because you're the ghost. You either delete everything or you turn your main accounts into digital corpses and create a burner second profile that only exists to watch, never to post. No stories, no likes, no comments. You become invisible by choice. People start wondering if you're okay. Then they start wondering if you even exist anymore. That's the point. 3. Your calendar looks like a monk's. No parties, no quick coffee catch-ups, no networking events, no birthdays unless it's blood family, and even then, minimal. Your time becomes so ruthlessly protected that even your closest people start feeling like intruders when they try to claim a piece of it. 4. Obsession replaces balance. You pick one thing, one skill, one obsession, and you marry it. Everything else gets demoted to background noise. You don't work on it a few hours a day, you live inside it. Sleep becomes something you do to stay alive long enough to keep working. Food is fuel, exercise is maintenance. Everything funnels toward the same black hole goal. 5. You get emotionally cold on the outside, but you burn hotter than ever inside. To the world, you look detached, maybe even dead inside. Inside, rage, hunger, defiance. Every time loneliness tries to crush you, you weaponize it. You turn the ache into fuel. You let the silence scream at you until it becomes your war drum. 6. You talk only when it has strategic value. Small talk dies. Explaining yourself dies. Justification dies. If words don't move the needle forward, they don't leave your mouth. You become a man or woman of very few, very expensive sentences. 7. Minimalism everywhere except the work. Wardrobe shrinks to 5 to 7 outfits that require zero thought. Apartment looks like a lab more than a home. No decorations, no clutter. Everything is either useful or it's gone. The only thing you allow to grow fat is your competence. People will say you've changed. They'll say you're different now. They'll say you're cold, unrecognizable, lost. They're right about one thing. You are unrecognizable. That's the entire point. Because the version of you they miss was the version still wearing training wheels. The ghost phase isn't about hating people. It's about loving your future self more than you love anyone's comfort today. So you disappear. You cut the cords. You choose the silence. The loneliness hits like a freight train. Most people run back to the herd at this point. They panic. They text someone. They post a story just to feel seen. They tell themselves this isn't healthy and go back to safety. But the ones who stay, the ones who let the loneliness finish its work, they go through something very different. It's not suffering, it's alchemy. First, the pain arrives. Raw, ugly abandonment pain. Your brain screams, you're gonna die alone. No one cares. You're nothing. That voice is loud. But instead of negotiating with it, you let it scream. And something strange starts happening. That same pain that wants to break you starts getting redirected. The emptiness becomes pressure. The pressure becomes heat. The heat becomes rage. And rage, clean, focused, unapologetic rage, becomes the purest fuel most humans never touch. Because when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one is there to tell you good job or slow down, your entire reward system collapses inward. You stop being motivated by external approval, and you start being driven by internal contempt. Contempt for the weaker version of yourself that still needed likes, needed pats on the back, needed permission. That contempt is brutal, but it's honest. And honesty plus isolation equals something terrifyingly powerful, an internal reference system. You become the only judge that matters. You become the only audience that counts. You stop performing. You start forging. Studies on flow state show one consistent pattern. Social distraction and social pressure are among the fastest killers of flow. The moment other people enter the equation, even as background noise, your brain starts monitoring for social consequences instead of pure creation. When you remove the audience completely, flow becomes the default state. Hours disappear, days disappear. You enter the dark room, and in that room, the quality of what you produce jumps orders of magnitude. Because now there's no filter, no people-pleasing, no what will they think, just the work, the obsession, the aesthetic purity of doing something at the absolute edge of your current ability. And every time you push through the loneliness instead of running from it, you forge another layer of psychological armor. You become harder to hurt, harder to manipulate, harder to pull back into the average. The herd animal slowly dies, and something colder, sharper, more sovereign begins to breathe in its place. This is transmutation. Lead into gold, weakness into weapon, abandonment into sovereignty. Most people will never know what that feels like because they never stay in the fire long enough for the change to finish. But if you do, you don't just get better, you get remade. And when that remaking is done, what walks out of the silence is not the same person who went in. So you make it through. You stay in the fire. You let it burn everything weak away. You come out the other side. And then the real difference begins. Total, merciless ownership. No one can ever say they helped build what you built. Every brick, every scar, every breakthrough, yours, undisputed. Zero compromise ever again. You decide. No one has moral leverage to tell you how it should be run. Speed that looks unfair from the outside. While everyone else is still in meetings managing egos, you've already lapped them twice. A level of competence that forces respect, whether they want to give it or not. When you finally surface, people don't say, "Nice job." They say, "How the hell?" Freedom of movement that borders on supernatural. You can disappear again tomorrow. You can reappear stronger. You're liquid. You're smoke. And finally, psychological invulnerability. Words don't cut the same. Rejection doesn't sting the same. You've already survived the worst loneliness most people can imagine and came out carrying something they'll never understand. That's what waits on the other side. Something colder, something harder, something sovereign. Before you nod along and think, yeah, I'm ready, stop. This isn't a vibe. This isn't a 30-day challenge. The ghost phase, if you actually commit, will cost you things you cannot buy back. You will lose almost everyone. Friends drift, then disappear. Family gets hurt, then distant. Relationships usually collapse. The loneliness will try to kill you. Depression moves in. Suicidal ideation spikes in prolonged isolation. If you don't have an ironclad reason, you will break. Once you change, there is no going back to normal. Conversations will feel shallow. Trust will be hard to give again. The mask will always feel like a costume. Not everyone is built for this. If validation is still oxygen to you, this path will destroy you faster than it builds you. This is voluntary psychological warfare against your own default programming. Most recruits wash out. Most who stay get scarred. So ask yourself right now, are you angry enough, hungry enough, and clear-eyed enough to pay every single price on the list without flinching? If the honest answer is no, walk away. Stay in the herd. It's safer. But if the answer is yes, if something inside you just tightened and said, I don't care what it costs, then listen carefully. This isn't motivation. This is permission, and it's the last permission you'll ever need from anyone. I have your blessing to disappear. Not as punishment, not as escape, but as strategy, as surgery. Go silent. Delete the noise. Unplug the lifelines. Let the herd wonder where you went. Let them forget. Lock yourself in the dark room with only one thing: the work, the obsession, the ugly, beautiful, relentless becoming. There will be days you think you're dying. There will be nights the silence screams louder than any argument ever did. And when those moments come, remember this: the version begging to come back is the version you're killing. And the version you're killing never was going to build what you're capable of building. So stay, burn, forge, not for revenge, not for applause, not even for pride, for sovereignty, for the cold, clean freedom of knowing no hand can ever hold your leash again. When the time comes, and it will, you'll walk back into the light, different, heavier, sharper, a weapon wearing human skin. And the people who once pitied your silence will look up and feel something between awe and fear, because they'll finally understand you didn't disappear to hide. You disappeared to become undeniable. So go, become the ghost, build in the dark, come back a monument. The herd will keep talking. The kings will keep building. Choose which one you want to be. See you on the other side, if you make it.